Hey there. So today is Tuesday, and what I am thinking about doing is a Grief Talk Tuesday, where every Tuesday I come on here and I talk about grief and I share various topics about grief and all things related to grief, maybe an update as to what I'm up to, what I'm struggling with, all of the above, whatever. And today I kind of want to talk about global grief and just what happened with the loss of Kobe Bryant and his daughter and the others who were killed as well. The fires in Australia, just the earthquakes, everything that just globally causes our hearts suffering. And one thing that I've been learning a lot through Reiki and just reading about energy is that every emotion and every thought that has emotion behind it has energy. And if, as a globe, we are dealing with not only our own grief, but grief that has an impact on us that of issues or things that are going on in other people's lives globally, or if someone shares a story with us, or it's just, and for some people too, they take in other people's emotional energy. And there is a part of a book I'm reading right now, and I wanted to share it with you because it is so good. And it talks about, I'll just read it. Scientists have discovered that the electromagnetic signals radiating from your heart are actually detectable in the brain waves of another person. This phenomenon is strongest when two people are touching or are in close proximity, but it is measurable at a distance as well. Also, your heart generates 60 to 1,000 times more power in electromagnetic energy than your brain, easily making your heart the most powerful organ in your body. When you were a tiny fetus growing in your mother's womb, your heart was formed first, before your brain. Your heart beats about 100,000 times a day, 40 million times a year, and if its connection to your brain were severed, it would keep right on beating. Research shows that your heart is much more than a mere pump. In the 70s, scientists learned that the heart has an elaborate nervous system, a discovery that has led to the creation of the branch of new medicine known as neurocardiology. The fact is, we all have two brains. Much to these scientists' surprise, they discovered that the brains in our heads are obeying messages sent by the brains in our hearts. So that just goes to show, and what I've always believed too, is that the heart is the brain of our body. And I'm learning so much about how emotion impacts and can get lodged in our bodies. Now imagine, think about your own grief, and then think about grief that is shared with you, and grief that you read on in the news, or when you're watching on TV. Oftentimes we are watching things on TV that bring up things for us inside, and emotional, painful emotions, and it just reiterates how important it is that as a globe we take responsibility for our hearts and our healing, because essentially every heart that heals raises the vibration of our globe. And there was a podcast I listened to not long ago too, where the gentleman talked about how he was using the floods in Louisiana as an example, and how so many people, it was so much more devastating to them because they felt helpless. They weren't allowed to go and have a purpose. They weren't allowed to go help start cleaning up. They weren't allowed to, they were all contained within civic centers and superdomes or whatever. They couldn't go out and feel like they had a purpose, which only compounded their grief and hopelessness and helplessness even more. But so I just want to encourage you that if there is something that is within you that needs healing, that you dig a little deep and find something that can help you start to work on that. Because not only is it a ripple in your own life, it is a global ripple. It's a familial ripple. It has a positive impact in your immediate circle, the outer circles that you are involved in, your community. Healing causes ripples. So that is my message today on today's Grief Talk Tuesday. Join me next week, hopefully earlier in the day. And if you like this topic, let me know in the comments if there is a topic you would like me to talk about. Doesn't have to be grief, it can be personal development, but I can definitely tie grief into that. But let me know. Have a wonderful evening.